Manchester City vs Brighton result, highlights and analysis. Erling Haaland lifts Man City's Anfield gloom by flattening Brighton. Etihad Stadium, Manchester. You can talk about tactics, heated rivalries and sublime skills, but, honestly, is anything more entertaining than funny football? There are entire social media accounts dedicated to such things, usually securing thousands of likes on the back of some god-awful goalmouth scramble from the 1990s where everyone falls over. That sort of thing probably doesn't light Pep Guardiola's candle, but, objectively, Erling Haaland's first goal of his brace in Manchester City's 3-1 win over Brighton on Saturday was very funny indeed. Things hadn't been going all that well for City, truth be told. Guardiola's pre-match admiration for Brighton coach Roberto De Zerbi did not look at all misplaced. The visitors went man for man across central midfield, meaning Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and a roving João Cancelo were starved of room. Ederson, usually so majestic on the ball when joining in with City's build-up, stood befuddled on a couple of occasions, unable to spot a serviceable pass as a press led by the reticent Danny Welbeck made City's life a bit of a misery. During an early break in play, Ederson joined Ruben Dias, Silva and Haaland for some tactical instructions from Guardiola. It might have yielded that thigh-slapping opener. One we've not really seen yet is Ederson getting the ball and spraying a 70-yard diagonal to play. Haaland, through on goal, former City defender Nejimo Nuoha told the Sporting News last week. These are things that City have in their armory. More, how Erling Haaland and Phil Foden can prove Jurgen Klopp right and break the Liverpool vs Man City rivalry. In the 22nd minute, it was the weapon they produced. Haaland appeared to think the pass wasn't coming, so checked his run. But Ederson fizzed one over the top of the Brighton defense and chaos ensued. Haaland's acceleration from a standing start was remarkable. Robert Sanchez seemingly decided he didn't want to face a shot from the Premier League's most lethal marksman, so herred out of his goal towards Haaland and then beyond him, missing ball and man. Adam Webster was unfortunate enough to find himself between City's number 9 and the object of his desire and was promptly flattened. Haaland slotted home and VAR upheld the goal, probably to teach Webster and children watching everywhere that standing in front of an articulated lorry when it's thundering downhill is a terrible idea. It was definitely funny and things started to feel like fun again after a sapping week on the blue side of Manchester. Their defeat to increasingly bitter rivals Liverpool at Anfield was bruising and the fallout from the match has been toxic, wearying and regrettable to say the least. Wondering what magic Haaland and his supporting cast might produce next is just a far more enjoyable way to spend your afternoon than pondering what sick verse might emerge from the Hillsborough songbook or how much loose change will be launched at Guardiola's head. Why was VAR used in Man City vs Brighton? In one glorious passage of play, Riyad Mahrez nutmegged Adam Lallana to get City moving down the right. De Bruyne and Jack Grealish exchanged passes and the Belgium international could not find the finish. He would do so later in exquisite fashion to seal the points. City's led 2-0 at the break after Craig Pawson produced what looked like a buck passing decision, failing to penalize a blindingly obvious foul on Silva, safe in the knowledge he could award it from the screen a couple of minutes later. Haaland grasped the ball, but his successful penalty was delayed because, as he approached the spot, 5 of his teammates were receiving frenzied instructions, a severe dressing down or both from Guardiola. The City manager did not like a lot of what he saw on Saturday, less so after halftime when Brighton emerged with renewed vigor. Leandro Trossard spanked home a 20-yarder that was too hot for Ederson to handle, and the Brazil goalkeeper saved impressively after a barnstorming run from the Brighton goalscorer in the 73rd minute. Welbeck screamed in vain for a pass on that occasion and, a couple of minutes later, De Bruyne picked out the top corner from 25 yards. Manchester City vs Brighton result, highlights and analysis. Erling Haaland lifts Man City's Anfield gloom by flattening Brighton. Etihad Stadium, Manchester. You can talk about tactics, heated rivalries and sublime skills, but, honestly, is anything more entertaining than funny football? There are entire social media accounts dedicated to such things, usually securing thousands of likes on the back of some god-awful goalmouth scramble from the 1990s where everyone falls over. That sort of thing probably doesn't light Pep Guardiola's candle, but, objectively, Erling Haaland's first goal of his brace in Manchester City's 3-1 win over Brighton on Saturday was very funny indeed. Things hadn't been going all that well for City, truth be told.